Alright, y'all. In this video, I'm going to go over some things that basically happened to me over the weekend. Part of the week, but for the most part, it was the weekend. And like I said, even though I'm fully aware that my channel doesn't have a lot of subscribers, it doesn't get a lot of views, I'm fully aware of that. Some people use YouTube, for, to monetize their videos. They live off of YouTube, whereas I don't. I work a 9 to 5. Nonetheless, my channel serves as a platform as far as exposing the evils of the planet, the things that just exist on this fucking planet. And it's things that make me question the purpose, if there's any kind of purpose, if you will, as far as me getting out here and promoting foreign languages. So I guess, due to what happened to me, in this video, I'm gonna go over scammers and the fact that they do indeed exist. So I got my Guaidao Taiwanese green tea nearby, and I got my black and mild lit. So I'm ready to go. And if you sense any kind of pausing, that's probably me taking a puff, because Lord knows after this week I need one. I need two, matter of fact. I got two. So as many of y'all may have, I have an eBay account, and last Thursday, just a few days ago, somebody hacked into my shit. And the reason why I know somebody hacked into my shit is because they had some shit on there that I know damn well I didn't purchase, I know damn well I didn't order, and I know for damn sure I didn't sell. But the fuckers had on here that I had sold some TVs to these eBay customers, and they actually had me as the seller. And strangely, oddly enough, I found this on the very day that, and I'm glad I did too, because it's not every day that I get on eBay. So just imagine how fucked I would genuinely be if I hadn't even paid attention to this, days from now. So I managed to catch it the day that it happened, of these scammers, of these hackers, hacking into my account and having me out to be this salesman of these TVs to these two customers. Well, I notified customer service, and I notified the eBay help thing on the internet. So I'm guessing and hoping that they got a hold of it immediately. And I also emailed the so-called customers of my so-called customers, and let them know that it wasn't me who sold you this bullshit. It was some imposter using my account. So you need to get with eBay and basically get your refund, because whoever it was impostering as me basically got you. That should have been where the story finished. That should have been the end of that. because I took it a step further. You know, and it was just my way of covering my ass. So I deleted all my debit card information on there. I tried to delete my regular info with my first name, last name, and home address, but for some odd reason, you know, the database wouldn't allow me to do that. And but the thing is, I feel fortunate enough that I was at least able to delete my debit card info. But would y'all believe me if I told y'all that there are scammers out there who are so good at this shit that they are literally locked into the very foundation and the very systems that we rely upon every single day to access this, to get a hold of that, to contact customer service? Because like I said, the people who you know, either they fucked me or they're just as guilty because they're clearly in on it. These were people who were masquerading as customer service reps. And for all I know, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Maybe they're former employees of eBay who know the ins and outs of all this techno and internet shit. But these motherfuckers, and I willingly agreed to do it as well, but little did I know. And you know, I can't tell you just how disgusted I feel right now, because I'm thinking he was trying to solve a problem, and I'm trying to figure out how to get a hold of this and get a hold of that. And there was this thing with you know, the so-called customer service of eBay, where it was, and they actually called it like IT tech support. It was something to that effect, where these motherfuckers, you know, once I agreed to the terms and conditions, these motherfuckers could literally see what I was doing on my phone, and they were basically guiding me through here and there, whatnot. And for whatever reason, these motherfuckers were up here trying to get a hold of my bank account. And one of them even asked, "Oh, I see you have crypto here." And he was even asking for that, like my crypto information, because I have a crypto app on my phone. But the thing is, here's the thing. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet when you think about what really happened. Because no, he didn't get a hold of my bank information. This motherfucker was trying to get a hold of my bank information. These motherfuckers, I need to pluralize that shit. These motherfuckers were trying to get a hold of my bank information. So that let me know right there that with me deleting the bank card information that I had, that they didn't have, whatever they did have, they didn't have enough. It wasn't enough. And the fact that I deleted that shit probably made their problems even worse. Which is probably why they were trying to act, which probably why they were asking for my bank information, trying to get me to log into my bank. Yeah, I'm kind of hesitant here because this damn paramedic truck just rolled up and pulled up and stopped. I'm like, bro, it be some strange shit be going on this time of night. You would think things would finally die down and whatnot. But shoot. So, like a dumbass, I was actually trying to log into my bank account, but fortunately for me, I had forgotten my username, and I dare even say my password, because I do have an app that I go to, and I know that left and right, and that wasn't good enough for him, or them rather. But like I said, I was constantly getting the username and password info wrong. So he was like, don't worry about it, because you do it enough times, it'll log you out. Or it'll not log you, it'll lock you out. And then later on, these motherfuckers were up here talking about some shit about, well, the hackers have been in your account, and the only way we can clear your account is you have to provide a security deposit. And once you provide that security deposit, we'll reimburse your money. We'll put it back in your account. But as of now, we need $200. And at the time, this was Thursday, and I get paid on Friday. And I wasn't aware, because this is honestly the first time that I've used a Play card, or used any kind of Google card or eBay card, or any kind of gift card for that matter, where I'm devoting a certain amount of money towards that shit. This was the first time I ever did some shit like this. So in other words, these motherfuckers played on my ignorance, like like they normally do. Like con men usually do. Take advantage of your ignorance. Take advantage of the fact that you are ignorant of the situation. Like I said, believe me when I tell you, I've seen my share of scams before. Like I said, I told y'all how last year Sig went out on I'll light it up in a minute. I told y'all how last year there was some people from Florida who tried to give me this bogus check and had me do this project, which I didn't do. I probably only did like 5 pages of the shit. But they sent me this ridiculous amount of money on this check. And like I said, it had barcodes, it had watermark seals, it had everything that looked like an authentic check. But surely when we tried to verify that shit, it was anything but. It was a fraud. And a similar thing happened this year too. Somebody tried to send me a bogus check, from this pros.com. And let me go ahead and expose pros.com for all of its shiesty ass so-called customers who be sending all these bogus ass checks, calling themselves trying to get you to do a project for them, but they're up here writing you these fraudulent checks as if you're gonna be stupid enough to cash them motherfuckers. And the thing that amazes me so much about these bank tellers out here is that they're so stupid is that they won't even take the fucking time. They're so dumb and inexperienced, they won't even take the time to actually see any kind of verification, like do something with the check to make sure that it's a verifiable, confirmable check, that it's not fraudulent. And I had to stop one of these fucking foreigners, one of these East Africans, by the way, this East African bank teller from depositing this check, because I had to tell her, like, no, you need to verify this shit first before just depositing this check, because what if it bounces on me? And surely enough, it would have, because when I verified this second check, surely enough, it was a fraudulent. It was a bad check. So believe me, I've seen my share of schemes and scams and just shiesty ass motherfuckers. I seem to have some sort of, it's almost like I seem to just have some sort of destiny with shiesty motherfuckers, because Lord knows I've had my share of experiences with them, but I've never dealt with anything like this before, where somebody had hacked into my account, and then, you know, I'm up here calling you know, the number that appeared when I typed in eBay customer service or support or whatnot. And they up here telling me to get an eBay card, and I was telling them that there aren't any eBay cards. When, you know, this was, you know, the day after I got paid, or really the day I did get paid. They're telling me, oh, well, that's okay, just get a eBay card. I mean, not an eBay card, but a Google card. And then, and it's like, you know, today I was at Safeway, and it was like the whole steps as far as like, how do you know if you're being scammed? And they're up here, and it was the same process. They're telling you need to use this gift card to pay. You know, they're walking you by while you're on the phone with them and asking you to give them the 16-digit number on there. And like a damn fool, I fell for it. Not once, but twice. And surely enough, they hung up the phone. I tried to call them back, and I got nothing but a voicemail. So that's what I mean when I say that this was bittersweet, because these motherfuckers was trying to clear my whole shit out. And luckily for me, they didn't get all my money. They were trying to get all my money, because even after I gave them the because he was telling me that I need $200 for 2 people because it's 2 hackers, and that's how I'm gonna have to get my name cleared. And even after that, this motherfucker was asking for an additional $100, and I'm like, why would I give you an additional $100? And, you know, like, I don't have any more money to give you. And he was like, oh, well, you, and like, you know, with the typical Indian accent, well, my friend, you say you deposit or you withdrew $600. And that's all. I mean, I don't know what else to say. They got me. They fucked me. And I can't tell you just how genuinely disgusted I am at these fucking rats. I mean, I'm disgusted on so many fronts too. And like I said, the good news is they didn't get a hold, at least they didn't get a hold of my banking information, my account number and my router number. They didn't get that. So as bad as this is, as bitter as this is, all they really got from me was $400. And like I said, I've never seen anything like this before. So yeah, they got me. They fucked me good. And from what I hear, this is all too common. And from also what I hear, this is all too common on eBay. I've heard of people getting fucked out of thousands of dollars where they did foolishly and confidently depend on someone masquerading. Because here's the thing about these con artists. These motherfuckers aren't amateurs. It's not like these were your typical common criminals who could, or who couldn't rather, you know, don't have any kind of access to Google or IT or no, these are motherfuckers who either work for these companies like AT&T and Google and eBay and whatnot, or they're former employees. These motherfuckers are educated. They have way more education than you or I when it comes to like IT, and because like I said, this motherfucker was up here looking at everything that I was doing while I was on my phone and trying to access whatever it was he could, particularly my bank account. And like I said, fortunately for me, I actually forgot the name or the username for my bank account, so I couldn't get a hold of that even if I wanted to. So I had nothing that he could really take from me except, and if I had seen it ahead, he wouldn't have had he wouldn't have had shit. They wouldn't have gotten shit. I mean, it's with great regret and great disgust that I have to come at y'all making yet again another video just exposing, just the nature of people, like human nature at its worst. And for whatever reason, life, I mean, I don't know if this is just the human dynamic or life just has this knack as far as showing me human beings in their worst nature. Just showing me anything and everything short of cannibalism. In other words, just showing me motherfuckers just ain't being shit. From the lowest of the low, from your lowest common criminal to your IT technician. Motherfuckers proving and going out of their way to prove and show like they got something to prove to your ass that they ain't shit. And for the life of me, I don't fucking get it. I'm gonna relight this cig. Give me a minute. Now, I've read certain books, during my my earliest the foreign language training, talking about how in places like, it was actually a book on Korean, because it was telling about how, even though scams aren't as common in Korea, aren't nearly as common in Korea as places like India and Thailand, they're still pretty common in Korea. I remember that when I started learning Korean, and it seems to me that I just got a taste of those traditional Indian type scams. One of many, I imagine, that usually, are perpetrated, are usually committed by, motherfuckers like Hindus. And I know it ain't just Hindus. I've heard of Nigerian scams. Apparently, Thai people got their little scams going on. And I've often stated that how I've become a misanthrope, and how I don't know if I've gone into why I've become a misanthrope, but shit like that and shit that I've experienced before in the past, it justifies my misanthropy. It justifies my misanthropy. The fact that I'll get on YouTube and say that niggas ain't shit, and when I say niggas, I mean everybody. And this is prime proof. The whole gig with pros.com, where these motherfuckers were sending me bogus checks, that didn't work. So, let's resort to Google Play cards and get him scammed out of his own money. using the gift card. Completely untraceable. And somebody unsuspecting like myself at the time, even though I knew it was probably some bullshit. But again, they were taking advantage of my ignorance. They were taking advantage of the fact that I was still in panic mode. They took advantage of all that. And words can't express how utterly disgusted I am right now with the human race. Because it's not like I said, it's not like I'm unfamiliar with the fact that people ain't shit. Trust me when I tell you this. I'm from the closest thing to a Rio de Janeiro in the United States. And that'd be in Memphis. And it just had me thinking. When you're dealing with a lot of, I don't know if y'all heard that, these motherfuckers is still popping fireworks. And it's August now. The last time I showed y'all this shit, it was still July. It was late July, but it was July. It's August now, and they're still popping fireworks. It's August 8th. Well, 9th now. It's past midnight. But when I say this, it's not even out of anger as much as it is confusion and even frustration as far as what I do. Because I told y'all that numerous times, y'all should know by now that I'm a polyglot. I mean, it should be, even if I was a Ponzi schemer like these motherfuckers, even if I was, the fact that I'm constantly saying that, y'all should have been on, like, even if I was a Jim Jones Kool-Aid selling motherfucker trying to sell you this Kool-Aid that, I deal with foreign languages, y'all should be convinced by now just by hypnosis or, however these, Ponzi scheming motherfuckers, do their little spiel that, I deal with foreign languages. I've majored in 3 and I'm fluent in over 40, if not 50. I haven't bothered to, I often miscount. But my only question is, to what avail? To what avail am I doing all this shit? Learning all these goddamn languages? Because it all boils down to things that I've learned, things that I've known of ever since back when I was in that shithole of a so-called society called Memphis, and all the fucked up elements of human nature that I got to see back there. It all goes back to that bullshit. You can't out-language human nature. You just can't. You can't out foreign language, antisocial personality disorders like narcissism, psychopathy, and sociopathy. People who just have no sense of conscience when it comes to, getting you involved in all these kinds of Ponzi schemes and getting you into a lot of trouble and not giving a flying fuck. Like I said, getting a hold of your most sensitive and most private of information and cleaning your whole bank account out. Because like I said, I was lucky. I was lucky because I don't even know if eBay will see this and see, be understanding, or they'll just, try to make me the culprit of this shit and just put me in bad standing. Like, you're in bad faith with, these customers trusted you and I tried to tell you that it wasn't me. It was some scammers. It's not even in my history to sell anything on eBay. I've never sold anything on eBay. I buy shit on eBay. I don't sell shit. But up here got me looking like this asshole who's up here trying to scam people out of their money. And to the motherfuckers who did that, I don't even know how you motherfuckers sleep at night. I mean, y'all probably are some psychopaths and sociopaths who have no concern, who don't care. But I'm here to tell you, not only are you a piece of dog shit, the fact that you would take the time to get educated in things like STEM and things like IT so that you have a leg up over the average, I dare say, American citizen who doesn't notice all this shit and isn't nearly as internet savvy as you and computer savvy as you, that's what makes you a piece of dog shit. It's a special kind of contempt that I have for the likes of you. Because believe me, I've had my run-ins with common criminals. You know, motherfuckers who are just coming in with a gun. Yeah, put your hand, the stick-up kids and whatnot. Low IQ, low-seated motherfuckers just robbing a bank or doing just some shit that will easily get their ass shot. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, give me a minute. But yeah, I almost forgot to mention. Well, with people operating like this around the world, how the fuck am I gonna sell something like foreign languages? Why would I even tell someone that you should travel to these fucking countries, much less learn their languages? See, these are the kind of motherfuckers that put me in a bind. Because sooner or later, I'm gonna be out there promoting the business. And that's something that I've spent, like I said, the last 2 decades that I've been building on and perfecting the languages of the world, predominantly those of Europe and Asia. Even though, there's a few here and there in Africa, of course. I haven't forgotten about Africa. But, because those were the languages that I started on, I'm putting the finishing touches on these languages from Europe and Asia that I've been learning and studying for years. And because, like I said, I'm so phonetically gifted, and the fact that, like I said, I've been studying these languages for years, it's almost at the point of place where, because I have that solid foundation in a lot of these languages are going to be up for grabs. Like I said, of course, I'm going to want to put that out there, especially if I'm good at it. And I feel like I can promote the, the acquiring of it in a way that Pimsleur, Babbel, and fucking what else? Shit, I can't think of these foreign language. Yeah, I think the most common one is Babbel, but there's of course Pimsleur. There's all these, all this material that I've used, except Babbel and except Rosetta Stone. Because Rosetta Stone is a scam in and of itself, truth be said. Come on now, $400 for level 1, and you get like 6-7 CDs. You don't even get a booklet. You don't even get a visual. You pay $3.99 or $4.99 for some motherfucking for about 6 CDs. That's a rip-off in and of itself. It's a scam in and of itself. And the thing that fucks me up is that as my competitors in things like STEM, the number two, the main two groups of people that I'm always looking at as far as one of these days I'm gonna have to compete with these motherfuckers. And I probably simply don't have what it takes to compete with these motherfuckers because they got this shit lock, stock, and barrel. And I know that for a fact. And I've stated this before, are Indians and Chinese. But for me to run into this shit, to encounter what I encounter, to experience what I've experienced, I have to look at the Indian community as a whole. A community whose languages, again, I study, even though I don't have nearly as much, as much rapport, or, what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional investment as I do with the Southeast Asian community. But because many of these Southeast Asian languages, like I've stated in past videos, their scripts come from, are severely influenced by ancient, Brahmi script, like ancient Indic scripts, like I said, Brahmi, Pali, Sanskrit. That in and of itself is motivation enough to deal with Indic languages. Indo-Aryan languages and Dravidian languages. So you're not just dealing with some average Joe Blow who doesn't know the first thing about Indians and Indian culture. I'm very familiar with. In fact, I'm very familiar with India. Like, I'm very knowledgeable of India, far more than your average American, and I dare even say even more so than your average black American. And I'm here to tell you, Hindus, the Hindu community, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. The fact that you even allow this shit to go on, if you're not part of it yourself, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. There's that damn paramedic truck again. They've just been loafing around for past 20 or 30 odd minutes, just shit, telling what they was doing up in there. Y'all don't believe me? There they are right there, motherfuckers. Now they driving off like they doing something. That was another job that I was seriously considering doing, and again, man, I'm so glad I didn't. Bruh, there's so many jobs out here that just suck. Jobs, like, damn fool, jobs suck. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. Jobs just fucking suck. Being a paramedic sucks. Being a cop sucks. Being a firefighter sucks. Being a nurse sucks. I mean, my biggest... I'm just glad he went over there before he started turning on that damn siren. I know y'all can hear that shit. Being a teacher sucks. Because I was finna be a teacher. And when I came out here, I was looking at all these different avenues of employment. Now that, since I finally made it out of, the ass end of the earth, also, aka Memphis. And I'm like, all that bullshit and all that training I'd have to go through to be driving through the streets of Denver, carrying motherfuckers who've been shot and stabbed and having heart attacks and all that, and then we got COVID going on too. All that bullshit I have to go through for the bullshit wages that they make. Because I hear it ain't a lot. It's probably like $16, $17 or some shit. And I hate to put my business out there like that, but I make way more than that. And I work in a warehouse. So. But yeah, man. How do I promote foreign languages? How do I promote the languages of a bunch of snakes? Because thing is, man, like I said, I'm not nearly as attached. And maybe it's because I didn't grow up around Hindus. Society set it up that way. The Hindus went to the good schools. I was assigned to the bad schools. But guess what? The Southeast Asians were over at those bad schools too. And like I said, maybe, just maybe, that's why I have more of a rapport with Southeast Asia. And I was also thinking of the fact that I'm from the southeast part of the United States as well. And like I said, it's known for their like the Vietnamese community down there. Even though there are a lot of Vietnamese out here in Denver too, there are a lot of Burmese. There are a lot of Southeast Asians out here, like Burmese. Apparently, a lot of Burmese, like people that I never thought in a million years I'd actually. And I'm pretty sure I've stated this. People that I thought in a million years I'd never actually run into contact with. I thought I would just end up studying, who they were, studying their languages, studying this and that, back when I was in Memphis. And then, I come out here, like I said, I'm running into Russians, I'm running into Nepalese, I'm running into Vietnamese, like we did have Vietnamese. It's a shit ton of Vietnamese in Memphis. It's a shit ton of Vietnamese in the South. And of course, Burmese people. And I hear tell there's a lot of Cambodians too. But again, that doesn't mean that I didn't give enough of a shit about the Indic languages because like I said, what's my number one language that I'm striving to learn and for reasons that I can't even give y'all. I can't even tell y'all why I give so much of a shit about this language. Malayalam. The only reason that I can really give y'all as far as why I give so much of a shit about Malayalam is because back in Memphis, I didn't have access to Malayalam. I didn't have access to Oriya or Odia. I had access to Gujarati, Tamil, Sinhalese to an extent, Hindi, of course, that's a given, Bengali, of course, that's a given, Punjabi, well, a little bit of Punjabi, and Gujarati. I think I said Gujarati already, but not Malayalam. Bengali to an extent, but not a lot. So out here, it's just now out here that I found resources. And I have the funds to afford the shit to get them sent out from India. And even with that said, I can't tell you how many times I've ordered some shit. These books like called from the Central Institute of Indian Languages. And how many times I've had to buy some shit over again because it would get lost in transit. Or was it really lost in transit? Was it really lost in transit, or was I just being scammed? Were you just taking my money and just saying to hell with, this book that you're trying to buy? And the thing is, this is a non-Hindu trying to preserve your language. Trying to preserve your language. You know why? Because nobody else gives a fuck about your language. And quite honestly, I don't see why they should. I really don't see why they should. When you resort to the kind of fuck shit that when you're known for that shit and it's part of your culture, you're known for that amongst the American people, if not globally, for doing shit like that. And you almost got me, because you did get me, but at least my thing is, I'm down, but I'm not out. I'll recover from this. But you've done Ponzi schemes to motherfuckers where they never recover. You taking out people's savings accounts. Again, using your knowledge of technology, using your knowledge of STEM, going to these fucking, and I'm not just directing this towards Indians, I'm directing this to anybody from anywhere, like I said, Nigeria, Thailand, anywhere, China, Korea, any of you motherfuckers who come to this country, get admitted into America's most prestigious of Ivy League schools, receive a top grade education that motherfuckers like me have to fight tooth and nail to even just get in the door, years after the fact, years after high school and years after college. Seeing that so-called education for the bullshit that it is, it's laid at your fingertips. And what do you do to contribute? What do you do to quote-unquote give back? You resort to Ponzi schemes. You up here selling motherfuckers a bridge in Brooklyn. And you're known for it. I'm like, the nerve of you. How do I promote the languages and the cultures of India? I know the pros and cons of India. I'm pretty sure I've stated it before that, I love Indian food. Indian food's one of my favorite foods. I can't decide between Greek and India, and it's probably because a lot of Indian, at least modern day Indian food, gets its influences from Greece and as well as Turkey. You would never know. I would have never known that had I not read a book. Like the Indian dish, the curry dish known as korma, apparently comes from this Turkish dish. I'm getting tongue twisted here, called korma, which it's something that I've seen it too. It's definitely it looks a lot more rustic than the Indian rendition of korma, but Indian korma comes from Turkish korma. And I've told y'all about my affinity for them Indian girls. Indian women some bad bitches, but unfortunately, what avail? To what avail? If you put me in a room with a butt naked Indian woman and a butt naked Cambodian, and I was butt naked too, as much as as much of an affinity that I have for, like I said, them Southeast Asian women and Southeast Asian people as a whole, just by sheer principle, I'd probably get at that Indian chick, and that's to me that's very unfortunate. I mean, well, I would say at first there was a time that I would do that shit, but now, nah, it would be out of wisdom that I just choose the Cambodian. Or the Thai, the Southeast Asian. Because I deal with that Indian woman, it ain't no telling what kind of schemes, what kind of false accusations, what kind of bullshit I'm gonna be, because it's part of their culture. There's this book, for the life of me I can't remember it, but it's basically the Indian version of Sun Tzu's Art of Warfare. And it's this long it escapes me. It escapes me, but it's basically the Indian rendition of Sun Tzu's Art of War. It's the Indian Art of War. And there's and it's pretty ancient too. Like it's anywhere from like the old age, like the BC era. It's I forget exactly how old it is, but it dates at least back to the medieval period, like at least to medieval India. And there's all kinds of techniques, there's all kinds of inscriptions as far as poisoning motherfuckers, using poisonous arrows, slipping poison in the motherfuckers' food, dropping rocks on them, unsuspecting people, setting them up, kidnapping. I mean, this is India. Hell, there was even, the Thugi cult, and it's funny that in this culture, in this society, we black men are known as thugs. It's very interesting that we would be known as thugs when the word thug isn't even of English origin. It's of Punjabi origin, because the word thug comes from the Thugi cult, which were a bunch of Punjab Sikh motherfuckers who were going around just capturing motherfuckers all throughout India and just torturing these poor motherfuckers and slitting their throats and chopping their body parts up and making blood sacrifices to the Hindu goddess Kali. And I dare even say Shiva, who knows? But they were mainly like, they were a Kali worshiping cult where they went up and down India just capturing, men, women, children, old, unsuspecting, innocent motherfuckers and sacrificing them, making human sacrifices. Just some diabolical shit. I'm like, India's a joke, bro. As much of an affinity that I have for Southeast as well as South Asian culture, I'm like, any South Asian culture but India would do. Like, give me Bangladesh, give me, Pakistan. I don't know about Pakistan. I'm good with them motherfuckers, because they ain't too, shit. I wouldn't go to Pakistan. No. But aside from that, if you're going to give me South Asia, give me Tibet, give me Nepal. And if I haven't said it already, apparently it's a lot of Nepalese people out here too. Again, people that I never thought I'd run into. And I got the inspiration to brush up on Nepalese, because I learned a little Nepalese back in Memphis, and I still got a few things here as far as acquiring Nepalese, but it's not really a language that I spend too much time grinding in. I don't really bother with Nepalese like that. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, anything and anywhere but India, bro. Because they're known for that shit. And I say shame on you. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You motherfuckers ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And all that anti-black vitriol that y'all have for blacks and Africans and whatnot, and y'all up here doing this type of shit as if you're so much better than the Africans and blacks that you gaslight and basically project as being a bunch of monkeys and people who just ain't shit. You guys, you have you have to have some sort of unmitigated audacity to even fix your mouth and fix your mind to even think and say some shit like that, doing the kind of fuck shit that you do. And I'm not pointing this to every Indian motherfucker out there. No, if it don't apply, let it fly. But unfortunately, the fact that this is well known throughout, just like I said, the Ponzi schemes that Nigerians are known for and other motherfuckers throughout the country, it speaks volumes. And the thing is, this is on your shoulders, because every so-called customer service rep had that Indian accent where you're talking like this. I'm not really trying to go into that like that, but and I'm like, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to STEM. You're a disgrace to higher learning. You're a fucking disgrace. And if you had any sense of morale, which clearly you don't, because, like I said, you're clearly some sort of fucking sociopath. Because you have to be a sociopath to do the kind of fuck shit that y'all be out here doing, clearing motherfuckers out, like trying to get a hold of motherfuckers' bank accounts and clearing all this shit out. You have to be without conscience to do some shit like that. You're no better than somebody who earned somebody's confidence and then take them out in the woods and murder them. You're no different than those pieces of shit. Than those murderous pieces of shit. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Because this is the kind of behavior that I would expect from a common criminal. But the thing is about these fucking scammers these days, these aren't your average Joe Blows. These are well-organized, well-educated people. They've probably been to universities that, like I said, you and I could never even dream of going to. Your UC Berkeley's, your fucking Princeton's, your fucking Pepperdines, University of Philadelphia's. You know, I'll be lucky, you know, with me being out here in Denver, I'll be lucky if I make something of an acceptable score on the SAT, you know, at the, you know, surely enough at the tender age of 36, and score high enough to attend the University of Colorado at Denver. Because I got to get in where I fit in. Even if I do make a high score. Even if I do score so high that, you know, let's just say in the rare event, you know, motherfuckers from, you know, Harvard or some, you know, some Ivy League school they're just impressed by the fact that I scored as high as I did on the SAT, because I do intend to score very high on the SAT, and particularly in math. And I'm like, even if y'all was trying to get me to go to y'all's university, I can't go there. I gotta hold the fort. I live here. My living is based here. I gotta hold it out here in Denver. At best, unless you want to send me to the University of Denver, which I hear is like, it's a private, I don't know if it's Ivy League, but I do know the University of Denver is private versus the University of Colorado at Denver. But I'm like, nah, I'll just go to UC Denver. I'll just go to UC Denver. But I'm like, this is the kind of shit that y'all do. Y'all go out of y'all way. Y'all live off the backs of black people, you know, exploiting the black community, you know, with your gas stations and whatnot, and your 7-Elevens and your convenience stores. And not only are you shitting on the very people whose money you're using so that you can get your children into these top tier universities, they're getting a hold of all this education so that, you know, state of the art education, just so that they can get out here and be on some more snake shit. I'm sorry, bro. I just don't understand that. I can't make heads or tails of that shit. But mark my words, motherfucker. You won the battle. You motherfuckers won the battle. You won this battle. But the war is far from over. It's far from over. Y'all motherfuckers just gonna have to kill me. That's just the end, like, cause I'm not gonna stop. And now and y'all wounded me, cause I'm out here, yeah, I'm licking my wounds. But what you think is gonna happen after I recover? When I tell you it's gonna be some hell to pay. Some hell to pay. Some hell on high water to pay for that bullshit. Now that I have personally experienced this kind of Ponzi scheme, it will be incumbent upon me, especially a bunch of motherfuckers who are all about this anti-black vitriol. Because, dealing with Hindus and whatnot, I already know, and not just Hindus,